Field policing pushes human endurance to its absolute limit. When an officer steps out of their vehicle, the intense physical demands of tactical gear, adrenaline, and active deployment immediately begin taxing their body. Standard dispatch systems are remarkably good at tracking a cruiser's GPS coordinates, but the moment an officer leaves that vehicle, command centers go completely blind to their internal physiological state. This creates a massive operational blind spot. Under the current system, a dispatcher only learns that an officer is experiencing a medical emergency after they've physically collapsed and managed to key their radio for help. Tracking where a unit is deployed is no longer enough to ensure their safety. True operational readiness requires command to know exactly how that officer's body is handling the stress of the deployment. This vulnerability becomes glaringly obvious in extreme environmental conditions. Take an Arizona summer, for example, where the ambient heat acts as a relentless, invisible adversary. In environments like this, a routine foot pursuit can escalate into heat exhaustion in a matter of minutes, completely draining an officer's physical reserves. Extreme heat exposure triggers a physiological cascading failure. It rapidly accelerates muscle fatigue and causes dangerous spikes in cardiovascular stress that an officer might not even recognize until it's too late. What looks like a normal desert landscape to the naked eye is actually a massive thermal battery, radiating intense heat upward and directly assaulting the body throughout a 12-hour shift. Human endurance alone cannot serve as a reliable failsafe against an environment this hostile. Surviving these conditions requires active technological intervention to catch heat stroke before it happens. The solution to this blind spot is the deployment of enterprise-grade wearable health sensors directly to field personnel. These devices act as a digital bridge, taking raw biological signals and translating them into a readable, actionable interface of key health metrics. The first major capability is continuous cardiovascular monitoring. The sensor watches for abnormal heart rate spikes that indicate acute physical trauma or severe psychological stress during an incident. Second, it tracks real-time changes in core body temperature. By monitoring thermal load, the system can predict and flag critical heat exposure risks long before the officer actually feels symptoms of illness. Finally, the devices analyze these biometric trends over the course of an entire shift, using algorithms to issue predictive alerts when an officer's fatigue reaches dangerous levels. The officer on patrol is now a continuous, measurable stream of vital health data, rather than an isolated unit relying solely on their own self-awareness. But generating this massive influx of biological data raises an immediate operational question. Where does it all actually go to be analyzed? The destination is the real-time crime center. These facilities process this high-volume health data on a massive scale, feeding it right alongside traditional intelligence streams. We can map this wellness pipeline directly. Biological data originates from the wearable on the field officer, is encrypted, and then continuously transmitted back to a central server at the RTCC hub. The system is entirely automated. The second an officer crosses a dangerous physiological threshold, like a critical spike in core temperature, the data stream turns red, triggering a high-priority alert on the dispatcher screen. This allows for immediate command intervention. Based on that alert, dispatchers can reroute backup units or dispatch medical relief directly to the officer's exact location, without waiting for a radio call. By integrating biometrics, real-time crime centers evolve from facilities that monitor external threats into active lifelines that preserve the health of their own personnel. However, implementing live biological monitoring creates significant vulnerabilities regarding individual medical privacy. The primary operational risk is mission creep, the very real danger that command staff could misuse this continuous stream of personal safety data for administrative micromanagement or unfair disciplinary actions. Here, establishing strict legal boundaries is mandatory. An officer's long-term personal health history must remain securely locked away and entirely separated from the data evaluating their immediate tactical readiness. Because of these privacy concerns, the technology often faces immediate internal resistance from police unions and frontline personnel who fear a total loss of workplace autonomy. Without ironclad guarantees protecting that privacy, the most advanced safety technology available will be rejected by the very people it was designed to protect. The definitive solution to this privacy complication relies entirely on the implementation of strict, transparent command policy. A successful policy must explicitly restrict the use of biometric data. It can legally only be used for immediate wellness checks and triggering emergency safety alerts, nothing else. Furthermore, access protocols must be tightly controlled. Only specific, authorized personnel inside the RTCC should have the clearance to view this data, and even then, only while the officer is on active deployment. This creates a robust, integrated architecture for officer safety. Wearable sensors track the invisible physical threats. The RTCC provides a centralized monitoring hub, and strict internal policies enforce the operational boundaries. Ultimately, true operational superiority in hostile environments depends on pairing cutting-edge physiological sensors with an unwavering ethical framework.